A man who walks alone is never lost. He's just walking where others fear to go. Welcome back, Ascenders. You're not here to blend in. You're here to ascend, and that takes friction. Sigma males aren't the loudest in the room. They're the ones who left the room hours ago and are already building an empire from the shadows. Today's world fears discomfort, but Sigma males, they feed on it. Not to prove anything, but because the comfort zone is where souls go to rot. This video isn't another surface-level list. We're peeling back the armor and showing the 11 real moves Sigma males make that most people couldn't stomach, even if you gave it to them with a silver spoon. We're talking habits that offend the average, moves that cause whispers, actions that leave others confused and a little afraid. If you're new here, this isn't a playground. Subscribe to Sigma Ascends if you're ready to think sharper, move differently, and operate like an outlier. Let's begin. 1. Ghost Mode Mastery. Most people are addicted to visibility. They crave likes, tags, mentions, digital proof that they exist. But Sigmas, they vanish on purpose. Ghost mode isn't laziness or retreat. It's mental war games behind closed doors. It's silence weaponized. In a world screaming for attention, Sigma males become invisible, and in doing so, they become invincible. They're offline when others panic, unreachable when the noise peaks. Their silence makes people nervous. That's intentional, because when you go ghost, you force the world to deal with your absence and your value. In ghost mode, the Sigma rewires. He drops toxic circles, breaks weak habits, builds new skill sets. He reflects, realigns, reinvents. When others resurface from a break with the same mindset, the Sigma returns evolved. He doesn't announce his comeback. He lets results speak. That job promotion, that physique transformation, that side business, all crafted in silence. Ghost mode is also a filter. Fake friends disappear when you're unavailable. Shallow relationships dissolve when you're not there to validate them. What remains? Only what's real, only who's solid. Sigma males treat their energy like a vault. Access isn't public, it's earned. So when a Sigma disappears, don't think he's lost. He's downloading his next version, and when he returns, you'll feel the upgrade. 2. Truth as a weapon. The average man waters down truth to stay likable. Sigmas sharpen it to stay dangerous. Sigma males don't dance around facts. They drop truth like a steel hammer, blunt, cold, necessary. They're not in the business of emotional babysitting. They're in the business of clarity, even if it cuts. Uncomfortable truths are Sigma currency. Whether it's telling a friend they're wasting their life, walking out of a fake relationship, or calling out nonsense at work, Sigmas say what others swallow. Why? Because truth is the fastest path to freedom. Even if it breaks things, especially if it breaks things. Truth reveals who can handle you. It exposes fragile egos. It separates surface-level connections from real ones, and it builds self-respect. Because lying, even politely, is still surrender. Here's the thing. Truth is expensive. It costs relationships. It costs popularity. But it buys authenticity. And that's a currency Sigma males never discount. People often label them rude or intense. But intensity is what happens when someone stops editing themselves for public comfort. Sigmas don't weaponize truth to hurt, but to heal with force. It's not always pretty, but it's always pure. 3. Walking away from the perfect deal. The world trains you to chase what glitters, that job with prestige, that person with looks, that partnership with promise. But Sigmas, they walk away, even when the table looks full. Why? Because a perfect deal on paper means nothing if it doesn't feel right in the soul. Sigma males don't evaluate based on status. They don't care how shiny it looks. If it compromises their code, they're out. No debate, no drama, just silence and exit. Imagine being offered a top-dollar role, but with strings attached to your time, identity, or peace. Most would fold. Sigmas fold their laptop and leave. It confuses people. Why would he say no to that? Simple, because they measure value differently. They ask, will this give me freedom or chains? Will I own my time, or will they rent it from me? Is this mine, or am I playing a part in someone else's show? It applies to relationships too. A partner who looks like a dream but drains your spirit? The Sigma thanks her for the experience and vanishes. Their secret? They don't operate from lack. They trust the next door will open because they're the one building the hallway. Walking away isn't weakness, it's dominance, the kind that says, I don't chase, I choose. 4. Conversational minimalism. In a world addicted to small talk and noise, Sigma males have mastered the art of strategic silence. They don't talk just to talk. Every sentence has weight, every word a purpose. Where most people try to fill the air with chatter to avoid discomfort, Sigmas embrace the pause. They know silence isn't awkward. It's powerful. It's where people reveal themselves. If you let someone talk long enough, they'll show you everything. Their fears, their motives, their lies. Sigma males don't interrupt. They observe. They dissect tone, choice of words, body language. Then they speak, briefly, surgically, and without fluff. It's unsettling to some, intimidating to others. Why? Because they're used to verbal wallpaper. Sigmas speak like sharpened blades, not background music. And when they don't speak, it's intentional. If a situation doesn't require their input, they offer none. If a conflict isn't worth their energy, they disengage. This isn't disinterest, it's conservation of firepower. In conversations, Sigmas steer away from gossip, triviality, or performance. They crave depth, real ideas, unfiltered thoughts. If it doesn't nourish the intellect or challenge the status quo, they'll opt out. And that silence? That's where their mystique builds. Because the less you say, the more others wonder. Sigma males understand that mystery scales influence. Loud people get heard. Quiet people get studied. 5. Breaking routines to burn comfort zones. Comfort is a slow death. Sigma males know this better than anyone. That's why, just when life starts to feel stable, they flip the script. New city, new job, new system. Not because they have to, because they choose to disrupt themselves before life does. Routine for most is safety. For Sigmas, it's a cage with velvet bars. While others build habits to anchor themselves, Sigmas use habits to launch, then break them to stay sharp. They believe in active discomfort, the conscious choice to challenge stability, because growth never visits the comfortable. That's why they seek the unknown. If a Sigma's day feels too predictable, he changes the game. Maybe it's waking at 4 a.m. for 6 months. Maybe it's deleting all social apps. Maybe it's quitting a 6-figure job to chase a project no one believes in. To outsiders, it looks erratic, but it's controlled chaos. It's training for adaptability. Because the one who adapts fastest controls the future. You'll find Sigmas doing things they're not supposed to. Learning blacksmithing, training in martial arts at 35, moving to a remote cabin with no internet for a year. These aren't gimmicks, they're resets, strategic collisions with discomfort to burn weakness. Breaking routine isn't rebellion, it's evolution. Sigma males don't wait for a crisis to grow, they create one on their terms. 6th, intensity over consistency in relationships. Sigma males don't show up on schedule, they show up when it's real, and when they do, it's like being hit by lightning, short, powerful, unforgettable. In relationships, they're not the good morning texters or the weekly hangout types. That's maintenance behavior, and Sigmas don't maintain for the sake of routine. They connect with depth, not frequency. This makes people uncomfortable. Why doesn't he check in more? Why does he disappear? It's because their presence isn't casual. When a Sigma gives you time, he's giving you his focus, the rarest resource he has. You might not hear from him for a week, then get a 3-hour conversation that shakes your worldview. That's how he operates. Intensely, not routinely. People mistake this for coldness. It's not. It's energy preservation. Sigma males are loyal, but not needy. They care deeply, but they don't cling. They'll protect you, elevate you, challenge you, but they won't babysit your emotions or text you every hour. This dynamic burns shallow people. It filters out the clingy and the performative. What remains? Genuine connections built on mutual respect, not obligation. Sigma relationships are transformative. They push people to grow or get out. They don't do halfway intimacy. They're either all in or they're out. And when a Sigma leaves, he doesn't linger. He doesn't breadcrumb or orbit. He respects the ending, just like he respected the bond. Because to a Sigma, every connection is a mirror. And if it reflects weakness, codependency, or fakery, he'll break the mirror before he breaks himself. 7. Becoming the enemy to stay authentic. Most people twist themselves into knots trying to be liked. Sigma males do the opposite. They tell the truth, act on instinct, and stick to their code, even if it makes them the villain in someone else's narrative. Sigma males are not people pleasers. They're self-loyalists. They don't lie to keep peace, shrink to avoid offense, or play nice to be accepted. If their authenticity threatens someone's comfort, so be it. They will not dilute themselves for applause. This earns them enemies, not because they're malicious, but because they refuse to fake it. Friends turn distant, colleagues get defensive. Even family starts labeling them difficult. Why? Because the Sigma's presence disrupts illusions. To most, identity is flexible. They change depending on who's watching. To the Sigma, identity is sacred. They'd rather burn a bridge than build one that leads to dishonesty. They'd rather walk alone in truth than join the crowd in deceit. This mindset makes them unpredictable, dangerous. Because you can't manipulate someone who doesn't fear disapproval. You can't guilt-trip someone who values self-respect more than social harmony. And while others spend years building fake friendships and forced alliances, Sigma males build something rarer: integrity under pressure. Being the enemy doesn't faze them. In fact, it confirms they're doing something right. If speaking truth or setting boundaries paints them as the villain, they accept it. Not with bitterness, with clarity. Sigmas don't seek enemies, but if authenticity creates them, they wear the title like armor. 8. Solo decision-making on high stakes. When the stakes are high, career moves, relationships, life shifts, most people look for consensus. They poll friends, consult mentors, seek approval. Sigma males don't. They go inward, not outward. In a crisis, they don't panic dial anyone. They get quiet. They reflect. They go off-grid. And when they emerge, they move with precision. To the outside world, this looks reckless. You didn't ask anyone? You made that choice alone? Yes, because only the Sigma lives with the consequences. So only the Sigma decides. This isn't arrogance, it's ownership. Sigma males take full responsibility for their wins and their failures. They don't outsource judgment. They don't need cosigns to move. They trust their intuition, not because it's always right, but because it's theirs. Built from a life of observation, solitude, and hard-earned wisdom. They'd rather fail by their own compass than succeed following someone else's. This kind of independence unnerves people. It exposes how much others depend on validation to move an inch. But Sigmas, they'll uproot a life, cancel a wedding, quit a dream job if the voice inside says no. And when the storm passes, they don't explain. They don't justify. They let results speak. And when those results come, they come hard. Because when Sigma males bet on themselves, they go all in. That's the power of solo decision-making. There's no safety net, no scapegoat, just clarity and consequence. 9. No idol worship, not even for heroes. The world is obsessed with heroes, celebrities, gurus, billionaires. Most people cling to these figures like anchors, projecting dreams, copying styles, quoting them like scripture. Sigma males don't worship. They analyze. They might admire someone's achievements or discipline, but they don't put anyone on a pedestal. Why? Because idol worship blinds you. It creates false hierarchies. It turns flawed humans into untouchable gods. And that's dangerous. Sigma males know every legend has cracks. Every genius has vices. Every public figure is curated. So instead of blind fandom, they extract value. What skill does this person have? What mindset? What discipline? Then they apply, adapt, and discard what doesn't fit. Even mentors don't get a pass. Sigmas question everyone. They'll learn from you today and challenge you tomorrow. If your actions break from your teachings, they'll call it out or walk away. They don't care how rich, famous, or enlightened someone is. If you bleed like they bleed, you're not above scrutiny. This attitude keeps Sigma males grounded. While others are busy imitating idols, Sigmas are building something original, inspired maybe, but never copied. And that independence, that refusal to bow, it makes them unpredictable, untamed, unowned, because once you stop kneeling to kings, you realize you were one all along. 10. Training in the shadows. The Sigma male doesn't show you the work, he shows you the results, and by the time you see them, it's already too late to catch up. While others broadcast every step, every grind, every hustle, Sigmas go dark. They vanish, they isolate, and they train in silence, not for secrecy, for concentration. In the shadows, there's no applause, no distractions, just the craft, the mind, and the grind. Sigma males thrive here because they don't need motivation. They've got discipline. They don't wait for the world to validate their goals. They just build. They might be learning coding at 2 a.m., reading Stoic philosophy for 3 hours before the world wakes up, studying languages, training their bodies, mapping new skills, all without saying a word. There's no check-in, no watch me work, just work. Because the Sigma understands something most people miss. Real power doesn't announce itself, it develops quietly, then strikes like a thunderclap. This mentality terrifies others. They can't track your progress. They don't know what you're building. They only see the aftermath, the launch, the transformation, the level up. And by then, you're 10 steps ahead. The shadow is where Sigma males evolve. It's not about hiding, it's about refining. And when they step back into the light, they don't return as who they were. They return as someone new, sharper, stronger, and unstoppable. 11th, embracing detachment as a superpower. Sigma males love deeply, but never desperately. That's what makes their detachment so unnerving. It's not cold indifference, it's conscious discipline. They understand a hard truth. Anything you cling to can be used against you. And so they train themselves to enjoy fully, but release completely. A relationship that turns manipulative, they let it go. A job that once brought purpose but now drains their soul, gone. A version of themselves that no longer serves the mission, buried. This detachment isn't apathy, it's emotional precision. It's the ability to stand in fire and walk away without dragging ashes. Sigma males don't fear endings, they initiate them. If something no longer aligns with their values, they don't negotiate. They exit. People call them cold, but that's projection. Sigmas feel everything. They just don't let feelings own them. And that's the difference between emotional strength and emotional slavery. Detachment allows them to move without baggage, to rebuild without mourning what no longer fits. They don't need closure. They are the closure. This superpower makes them immune to manipulation. You can't bribe a man who doesn't chase status. You can't control a man who's not afraid to walk away. And you can't break a man who's already let go. Because when you master detachment, nothing owns you and everything is optional. That's it, Ascenders. What we covered today isn't for the many, it's for the few. The ones who've always felt off-grid, off-script, and outside the noise. The 11 things we explored aren't just traits. They're warnings. They tell the world, I don't move like you. I don't think like you. I build alone, walk alone, and rise in silence. That's the Sigma path. Not glamorous, but dangerous. Not loud, but lethal. And if you see yourself in these words, you're not watching this by accident. You're already becoming what others fear to understand. So here's what's next. Don't just watch this. Live it. Audit your life. Cut the static. Master the silence. And remember, the world doesn't need more performers. It needs more precision, more clarity, more men of consequence. Subscribe to Sigma Ascends if you're ready to shed the noise and operate with edge. This isn't a show. This is a frequency, one built for those who don't just want to survive, but to dominate in shadows. Until next time, Ascenders, vanish wisely, move silently, strike loudly.